we got to update that plugger up there. Like, do not. Well, you can subscribe to DSONTL. That's my personal YouTube. You can see some of my vlog stuff, but you really need to be subscribing to the Players Pitch Show on YouTube. I got to make sure I change that. Once again, welcome back, guys. About to get into this bag with my homie, man. I first discovered my man inside the Players Pit Facebook community, inside the Facebook Players Pit group. And again, this is what I be talking about. Like, you never know who y'all be talking about in there. Well, who y'all be talking to in there, right? I did some digging, right? I was like, man, let me see who my man's is. You know what I mean? Because I see you. He ain't everybody cup of tea in there because he be calling y'all out.
Yeah, man. Just talking a little crazy sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
You know how that go.
Yeah, but I seen you on live, right? I seen you on live with Rev. Rev was on the show last week. I'm not sure if you caught the show last week, but Rev was on the show last week.
I did. Yep.
Yeah, and I seen the live when I think you guys were like the first people that actually went live.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And I think y'all was live for a little bit. Y'all covered like the whole Jerry Rice versus Ray
Right.
Moss, so Jerry Rice in the modern NFL debate.
Yeah,
y'all covered Jordan playing now and LeBron and everybody else playing in the 90s and stuff like that. It was real dope. It was like it was real dope dialogue, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to reach out because obviously with it being basketball now, fully basketball season.
Yeah.
Basketball season and stuff like that. I want to start I don't want to say pivoting the content, obviously, because sports are sports, right? But, you know, we got to favor the basketball community right now. Obviously, what's the point of talking about football, right? So I reached out to you first and foremost. Then I did some digging and I saw like, oh, like you somebody out here in Chicago hoops.
Small potatoes, bro. I'm just really trying to do my part, you know.
Make
something happen. But we making it happen though. We getting there.
Yeah,
pieces
man.
in place.
Yeah, so I definitely want to first off, guys, this is Fabian Chatman, man, aka I want to give him his proper credentials. Coach Chatman.
Appreciate it, man.
You know
Appreciate
what I mean?
you for reaching out, having me up, man. Appreciate you sharing the platform, you know.
Absolutely, man. I definitely want to bring you on, man, and just talk. So let's start with the first, with the first title, everything that you got going on. Illinois Fierce Vice President, man. Let's talk about the Fierce, man. What is the Illinois Fierce?
So Illinois Fierce, me and my boy John Edwards, we started Illinois Fierce some years ago, man. It's been about 9+ years or so. Started off with a group of second graders and whatnot. Really, even before we got into AAU, we were doing camps, basketball camps, football camps, training. Probably were losing money for the first X amount of trainings until we kind of figured it out. Yeah. And we've been rolling ever since, man. Cheerleading. We're looking to get into soccer. So we go all the way from third grade. We even got sophomores this year. They were freshmen last year. So we're bringing them back. And we just getting it going, man. Just providing opportunities for kids that need to get out there and coaches looking to coach, that type of stuff, doing it the right way.
What it sounds to me is that, excuse me, man, I'm belching, man. It's that Modelo.
But I need one.
but it sounds like to me like you got like a resource for these young kids out here that want to get in athletics, or maybe they don't want to get in athletics. They just want to, learn some fundamentals and some skills and things of that nature. Sure. So tell me, like, how does one get involved with Illinois Fierce? Because I know I'm talking to you. You have an AAU basketball team too, correct?
Right. So it would just be as simple as getting in contact with me, or like I said, my business partner, John Edwards, or any one of our coaches. Hit me up, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And just, hey, I got a 10-year-old son, daughter. I'm looking for them to get involved in this, or I'm looking for training, or just to get them off the couch, get them out the house. Let's get them into something they never played. However you want to play it, we got avenues for it. And if we don't have it, we're not hating, so we'll pass you on to the next guys that's got a lane for you. You know, if I don't have an age group, I'll pass you on to a guy that I trust that'll take care of your child the same way. So
yeah, I think that's dope.
Yeah, that's really just how we work, man. We work close with a bunch of guys in the South Suburbs mostly. We kind of got the same mindset, so we real forward thinking in that regard. If I can't service you, let me get you to somebody who can. So
that's a good look as far as like not hating, and also and not just not hating, but just like I don't have the space, I don't have the room, we don't have the bandwidth. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So let's put you on to somebody else that can,
Yeah. That could take care of you.
you.
Yeah,
That
for
can take
sure.
care of you. So let's talk about you being the assistant coach of South Suburban College, man. Because look, I ain't know.
Man.
When I mean I ain't know, I'm not talking about some. I ain't know that you was the assistant coach. I mean, I ain't know y'all was doing people like that. Now I'm
Man.
not trying to use this as a platform to bash teams, anything like that. I'm not trying to do that. But when you see some of them scores, bro, like when you see some of them scores, it's like, yo, like what are they like? What is going
Man,
on? Like, do
we
y'all
got a
got
special group, man.
y'all got D1 athletes on that squad, or
Nah, for
like,
sure.
or
We got some D1 guys. I mean, we got a special group. So I moved back out here.
because
I
it's
was in
ugly on that score
Nah,
scorecard.
it gets crazy at times, man. So I moved back out here from Portland for this was a part of the reason I went back. I came back out here. I was in Portland for about 18 months. I was coaching basketball and stuff out there. So
Absolutely.
I came back, and since October when I got back, nobody's talked about anything other than national championships. So when I came back here, that was like the expectation. So it was kind of surprising to me too, because clearly this is my first college coaching job. So I'm looking at it like, I've got to take your lumps along the way, and you got to learn from these losses and different things. And then I don't know the competition level, so I'm kind of feeling that out. And I'm looking like, hey man, is everybody bad? Or are we really good? Or what's going on? And
You
then
trying to figure out what's what?
trying to figure out what's what. Because when I got here, we did a bunch of tournaments and jamborees before our season started. We were a 500 team, so we were about. I think we might have been about 7-6 in like all our preseason games and whatnot. So, but we had 3 preseason All Americans. We've got a couple of guys who are gonna be in that consideration, maybe honorable mentions for All Americans and stuff like that throughout the season. So we really grew into a tough team. Like, man, like I said, 26-0. Got our last regular season game on Saturday against a tough team in Wisconsin. So we got to go out there to try to cap this regular season. But in the grand scheme of things, this ain't about nothing. It's been about nationals the whole time. So that's still really what it's about. We just got to get through these games to get to that end goal, So, but man, we got a special group, man, for real. We got a special group, 3 preseason All Americans, probably 4 D1 guys for sure. If 2 of those guys come back next year, you're talking about potentially 2 of the best JUCO players in the nation. So we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll bright future next year and this year for sure. So we're doing something special. We gotta finish it. Ain't nobody care about 26, 27-0 if you ain't win the whole thing. So
I feel that. I feel that 100%,
yeah.
man. Man, I went back and I was looking, and I just went because I've been seeing you post on Facebook, obviously, right? Then I paid attention. Then I looked at one. I scrolled through one post. I'm like, damn, 24-0.
Yeah.
South Suburban, okay.
Yeah.
So I go on the website today, and I'm looking, and I'm scrolling down, and I'm like, yo,
Yeah, nah.
like it's ugly.
Yeah,
Like
it gets crazy, man.
I went to Kish, man, and I see y'all did them dirty too.
Yeah, we do Kish dirty. We did them kind of bad. But Kish is tough though. Kish is okay. They got an okay team, But really, I think we just really got a special group. Man.
Yeah.
We really have a special group here, and we just trying to cap it off. You know what I mean? I think our margin of victory is like 25, 30 points.
Nah,
It's
it
up
might
there.
be that 30 might be that might be a
Yeah,
little low.
it's up
Judging
there
by the
though.
scores I saw, that might be a little
Yeah,
low.
it's up there.
Now, you have experience obviously coaching. And we're talking about coaching 2 different types of groups, right? Coaching
For
the young
sure.
kids, coaching the young adults, right?
For sure.
I don't like to call college kids teenagers, even though to they're not far removed. But
Right.
I definitely believe they're young adults. Can you talk to me about like the just the difference in the approach in doing such, especially by you doing both? Because I know you're juggling both at the same time.
Yeah.
Most times, right?
Okay. So, and let me say this real quick. Let me back up for my story a little bit.
Yeah.
Just so people kind of get it clear. So, with me, I started off volunteering, right? Country Club Hills Cougars, where I played football, Country Club Hills Park District basketball.
Yeah.
Like, did that for a few years. Ended up getting in at Gage Park because I was working with the Urban League. Got at Gage Park. I assisted over there for free. And Then I kind of worked my way into football. My boy, your boy too, Vince Bland, got me in at Marion for football. So I parlayed that.
One time for me though.
Yeah, that's my boy. Me and Vince played at CLD together.
Nice.
Parlayed that Marion linebacker position into a position over there with the freshmen
Nice.
at Marion Catholic. So that's when I really kind of started getting my feet all the way into it, right? So, and I tell people this all the time because a lot of people looked at me like it was a joke when I'm like, oh, yo, no, I'm the freshman coach at Marion and stuff like that. They like, what? You a football guy. You don't know anything about anything or whatever, right? So I say that to say it's like you said earlier, people never know who they're talking to or who they're dealing with or what position people could be in or who can help you get to a position or what opportunities, come with this stuff too. So it's like if you're watching this stuff and you want to do something like it could be done. You got to work your mouthpiece and you got to work your ass off and study this shit. But you got, it can be done. So I just kind of wanted to say that piece, right? But as far as me with dealing with 9-year-olds or dealing with 19-year-olds, you find a lot of common ground with this. You got to be honest. You gotta people recognize your intent, so kids know whether you're there for a check or you there because you genuinely mess with the kids.
Absolutely.
So and all of this ties into this. Like you see my shirt, BAM, Youth Guidance.
Yeah, which is pretty ironic that you weren't wearing that, considering where we're going with this.
Exactly. But I work for BAM at South Shore High School, so I go from the high schools at 7:30 in the morning straight to South Suburban to practice. Then I might go to Cal City for our 7th grade practice or whatever, So it's like really with this stuff, like this is my life. You know what I mean? Like I'm in this, I'm living it for sure. So that's why I'm a certain way too on in the pit and stuff like that. It's like, all right, man, y'all.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Shut up, man. Yeah. So it's funny though, but you gotta be straight up with these kids, man. You can't BS these kids. You gotta be genuine. And at times it's difficult because you build a relationship with people and you got to break news that they don't want to hear or they don't, they might not be ready for it. You got to get them ready for it, that type of stuff. So it's a balancing act, but generally, if your motives are good and your intent is there and you're honest about what's going on, like they can't do nothing but respect it,
Yeah, let's talk.
So,
and I want to talk about the development portion, right? Because you are the VP of
Fierce.
Say it for me because I don't want to.
Illinois Fierce.
Well, I know with the Fierce, but is it you're in like the development like a development coordinator, or are you like in charge of like the development of these athletes, right?
Right.
Now to stay on on us talking basketball, you hear a lot about how AAU culture is kind of minimizing basketball, right? And things of that nature. So by you being a VP for Illinois Fierce, who has a hand in that and things of that nature, is that something that you see often? And I'm pretty sure you probably don't see it from a Fierce standpoint, right? Because I'm pretty sure you guys are bringing in the guys and the people that you want to develop the talent that you have, obviously. And they're going to do it the right way, teaching these kids how to play basketball the right way. But from other programs, not saying bad mouth other programs and things like that, do you see the different approach, and can you see what a lot of detractors of AAU basketball see?
100%. I can see it. I've seen it both ways. So one of the best things I heard from a brother named Chris Thomas, he told me there's a lot of money in bad basketball, right? So that's what you're seeing is a lot of people, like you got a son. Say you want your son to play basketball. Okay, the son, we could start a Fierce team. You could be the coach. You got a 9-year-old team for your 9-year-old son. But in reality, you might not have a lot of interest in coaching other people's kids. You just want your son to do well. So I roll out a whole team for y'all. I have a tryout. I get you 10, 12 kids to show up. But you roll out there and you just let your son dribble up and down the court and shoot all the shots, right? Because it's your son and that's your primary focus. So like a lot of times that tends to be what happens. Or it might just be me and D-Son want to start a team. All right, cool. Let's hurry up and get 12 players so we can start collecting this monthly fee that we're going to charge them to be a part of this team and whatnot. And then we just pocketing the money and putting them in whatever tournaments. So I see it both ways. The thing is, you're not going to be able to stop that, right? So it's like you're never going to be able to stop people from making money that type of way. And it's 2022, man. It's just kind of, you're fighting a losing battle, right? We can't try to condemn all AAU sports because we need it, all AAU basketball, because the truth of the matter is, this is from a guy who coached high school basketball, most of the offers and the looks come from AAU. You're in the gym more times with those coaches than you are with your high school coaches, with college coaches around, right? So you need that avenue. Now, it don't have to be Mean Streets, it don't have to be Mac Irvin, but you need that avenue for spring, summer basketball to get your game in front of more coaches.
Absolutely.
Because the reality is, if you go to Bremen, and not a lot of even D2 coaches walking in Bremen. So if you get on some type of AAU circuit and you get in some decent tournaments and you get out there and you get 23 in the game on somebody who's somebody, that D2 coach gonna be, oh, well, who's number 22? Who's number 20? Who's that? Who is that kid? Where does he go to school? What's his name? You know, so you need it. It's just a thing. But the fact is, you know, it's problems in all things. You know, it's like, excuse me, nothing's gonna be perfect. So I see it in AAU, but it's just it's something that doesn't really, we're so far beyond it. There's no point in even really arguing it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point in really arguing it because it's not going anywhere. It's so far along that it's not going to change. You know, it's only going to keep spiraling how it's spiraling in just its natural kind of course of action. So it just kind of is what it is. I try to just tell parents to be on the lookout for certain signs. Don't give people your money if they're not developing your kid. He said, stop hating on women. My fault. Who was that? That looked like my partner right there. That's John right there. So
Shout outs.
he's just talking. But yeah, that's really just how it is, man. It's just something that's a part of the game now. It's just
What
a part
about
of the game.
what about the development portion, right? You know, me and Rev, I'm gonna bring Rev up because you're familiar with him, obviously.
Right.
We were talking about I think we were, and I think that the argument was the mid range game, right? And I want to use the
Yeah.
mid range game as an example. Obviously, we know a lot of it being a lot of it is a lost art. But his
Mhm.
argument was more so that the mid range game is more so a lost art because it's not being taught. And my argument was more so I find it hard to believe that guys can't that guys can't make, well, you know, like if all because Steph Curry, I'm just using, and he's an anomaly,
Yeah,
obviously,
for
but
sure.
all because he decides to shoot 93s doesn't mean that he can't shoot a mid range. You see
For
what I'm
sure.
saying? But that goes hand in hand with what I want to talk to you about anyway, as far as like
Mhm.
the development of these young guys and how
Mhm.
it trickles up, not down, right? It
Mhm.
trickles up to the AAU ranks, right? And then to the college ranks, and then
Mhm.
eventually to the NBA, right?
Mhm.
Um, What's your take on the development of players nowadays? Do you think it's any different from when you were coming up? When you were coming up
You
at
know
any
what's
point?
funny? It is different now. I just had this conversation with some former coaches in a Facebook group yesterday, Carvel Bailey, Tim Townsend, and they were just saying, well, who's going to train the trainers, right? And it's like,
Mm,
this is something that you could probably appreciate. We're in the same generation. You hear a lot of older guys saying, oh, all y'all want to do is shoot threes, right? Or all y'all want to do is this. And it's a big generalization, right? So, which is
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
That's fine. But who's teaching us other things, right? Because that's a big part of this. Okay, all of you 45 and older guys, why aren't y'all teaching the 32-year-old trainers? Why aren't y'all their mentors?
Nice.
Who's teaching them? Because that's really the issue. Because if you want to come back and say, okay, Steph Curry, one person ruined a generation of people. All right, let's take that premise, which doesn't make any sense. But let's take that premise. Let's say that. Okay, well, who are the guys that were before Steph Curry that are there to reel people in? Where are those guys? Because it's Rico Hines is a coach for the Sacramento Kings. Like he's 40 something plus basketball guru. Like he's not teaching De'Aaron Fox that.
Right.
So it's like there are guys teaching games, teaching the right way. I think it just becomes generalizations, right? So they just say that this is what happens, and the game changes, right? We don't play back to the basket, throw the ball in the paint 42 times a game anymore. That changed. Nobody's trying to hold on to that. Nobody's saying, hey, get you a center like Hakeem Olajuwon and do this and do that and play inside out. Nobody in the league in the NBA plays like that. Not one team. So it's like we pick and choose what we want to do. The facts are things change, man. The game changed. The game changed once it became a thing when people realized I could either get a layup or open three. You know what I mean? Or open three as opposed to working 7-8 dribbles for this mid-range shot and getting into the heart of your defense. That's what they started doing. And then analytics and people discover, hey, this is the difference between us scoring 106 points and 118 points. And it's X amount of shots.
I had a and I want to go off of what you said, like who's teaching, right?
Yeah.
I had a coach back when I played for Mid City. And bro, like he would scoff at us shooting threes.
Yeah.
Like everything, you scoring two ways on this team. You get into the bucket or you're going to the line.
Just hit the free throw line, right?
You took a three, you was out of there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because he always believed it was a better shot, which was obviously a layup.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started coaching in the Park District, it's funny how those same methods, the way I was taught to play the game, how I moved it down to the kids that I was teaching.
Of course.
I hated seeing them shoot threes.
Of course. Of course.
First of all, you can't shoot like that to be shooting threes.
Yep.
Get your little to the basket.
Get your little, yep.
But I think it also comes from just the way you were brought up, right? The way 100%. You were taught, the way you were coached. Now, the ones who
let me piggyback off what you just said real quick, because it's exactly the way you were taught, right? And the thing is, as a lot of people know, well, maybe a lot of people don't know, because you perceive things one way and then you relay them. You try to relay them the same way, but it's not always the same way, right? Absolutely. So, and you have to grow. So it's one thing, somebody taught me this, but if I'm coaching other people, I have to realize now that the shots are different now, right? So what was a good shot for me in sixth grade in the year 2000 or 1999, for sixth graders now it's different. It's a different good look. The look is different. Not the same. It's not the same. Kids can hit that three in sixth grade now. We couldn't.
Yeah.
Because we didn't shoot it enough.
Yeah.
They've been shooting it since second grade. We're different now. So that's a part of it too, right? It's like, all right, Fabian, you can't shoot that because you haven't been shooting it. But all right, come on. If you get a good shot and you get a good look, shoot it. Because that's how you're going to get better at doing it. And that's another thing that it's a generational thing, right? You have to grow up. You got to loosen the reins some, because it's not how the game isn't the same how we were taught. It's just not. Getting to the free throw line and layups and back to the basket isn't the way. It's not the way that the kids are playing as far as spacing and up-tempo offense and even just passing and cutting. It's just not the same, you know? So that's just something we always kind of got to grow with it. As we teaching it, we got to grow with it. You know, we can't teach them what we learned, because what we learned is outdated.
Do you see some things from the things that we might have learned coming up, you know, when we were playing or back during the prehistoric age of basketball, you know, with the bigs and the back to the basket? Can you see that style of play being successful now today?
You have to totally build your team around that. You'd have to totally, like if you had Shaq today, I give it to you. You'd have to build a game around him. You'd have to put all shooters around him, great passers. You'd have to look inside to Shaq, and Shaq will have to be willing to catch it and turn and throw it back out when the double team comes to the open guy for the open three. So it can be done. Like the Magic did that with Dwight
Magic
Howard.
did it with Dwight Howard. Yeah.
But that's 10 years ago or so. The
That
game
still was a long time.
look at that game, right? That game is completely different from the game we play now.
Yeah.
From when in the Heat, the Magic was probably one of 2 or 3 teams doing that in the league then. You know, so it's like the game completely changes. It's like 10, 12 years. Like it's going to be a completely different game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, it's difficult because too, even with that style of play, you're going to have to be really patient to get the ball inside, and you're going to have to play hell of a good defense, man, because people are going to just trade you those twos.
Yeah.
People will give you that dunk just for the opportunity of a clean three on the other end. And then if you get a dunk and we get that same opportunity, now we up 6-4. And that's how
Right.
people look at it, you know. And
3 is better than 2.
3 is better. Easy 3 is better than a hard-earned 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they're looking at it. Now, an easy 2 is an easy 2. If we get something going to the hole or we get fouled, that's fine. But an easy 3 is better than a hard-earned 2. If it's going to take us less than 12 seconds off the shot clock, it's going to take y'all 18 seconds. And then we get to rebound and we pushing it back up. It's like, we're going to add more possessions to the game. And y'all style don't benefit from that. What is
something from back then that you would like to see implemented now in today's game? Especially being a coach and then also being somebody who watched those 90s basketball and knowing about 90s basketball and just seeing how things have, you know, evolved and changed. Is there anything back then that you'll take? And
you know what? I'm not a huge fan of the game back in the day, right?
You know how I am about it, but
man,
that's like, another story, right? Go ahead.
Call it toughness. I call it fouling.
Absolutely.
People call it pure point guards. I just call it guys who couldn't really score like that. So it's like, all right, you know, I guess I would like a little more toughness, I guess, but you can't clothesline people. You know, that's fouling. You know, I never understood that too. People to say like, "Oh, Steph Curry couldn't do this back in the day." It's like, why? Why wouldn't he be able to? You know, that's like, unless you're literally gonna hold him in front of you, like you couldn't stay in front of Isaiah Thomas, but you could stay in front of Steph Curry, right? It's like, oh,
yeah, the logic don't make sense, right?
Yeah, it don't make any sense. Grant Hill averaged 30, but KD wouldn't do nothing. So, okay. But yeah, man, I don't know if I really want to see too much come back from there.
Let's switch gears real quick, right? So let's get back on your coaching, right?
Okay.
And I want to tie that into mentoring, right?
Okay.
And the effects that positive coaching can have on these young men, regardless if they make it to the next level or not, right?
Sure.
I tell people all the time that some of my best role models, my best mentors were my coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Like 100%, like 100%. Is it a way that you convey, or should I say I don't want to say adapt, but let's say integrate. Is there a way that you integrate just your nurturing and caring and mentorship to these players alongside with coaching? Because I know a lot of times that goes a long way with a lot of these players. A lot of these players come from different households. They come from different communities, different surroundings. You know what I mean? It's a whole different beast that they deal with outside of the gym, outside of the game. So them coming into your gym, them coming to you to coach them and things of that nature, it hits different for them.
Right.
Can you tell me how that affects you? It's not just the coach, but the many hats that you have to wear as a coach. Because I don't think a lot of people understand that. They think you just say you draw up a play, you have practice, you coach in the games, and it's like, all right, I'll see y'all next week at practice.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of times coaches got to be the coach. Sometimes they got to be stand-in dads.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they got to be the mentor. They got to be the older brother, the pastor. You got to be all these different hats, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think that's a good question. I think luckily for me, it's fairly easy because it's kind of like what you see is what you get. So I'm always the same way every time, whether I'm dealing with a 10-year-old, a 20-year-old, it's just maybe a little less cursing or whatever the case. But it's
Right.
like I'm the same type of person. So that's easy for me, the mentorship, the coaching stuff. It all rolls into the same. It all rolls into the same stuff. So for me, like I said, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give you the best thing to guide you on the field, off the field, on the court, off the court, whatever, right? In the hallways, that type of stuff. Real quick, I'll say, kid I had at Marion, Julius, he didn't want to hoop no more. Didn't really want to go to college. Smart kid though, super smart kid. Marion Catholic, graduating 3-point whatever. Not really a college kid. Don't really care. His pops worked in a union somewhere, making decent money and stuff. I said, hey man, look, don't go waste nobody's money going to school. Let's figure this out. Holler at pops. Me and him talked to his pops. Pops got him a job his senior year, working with him, making a nice chunk of change his senior year. That kid now is up reselling shoes, got his own little business, online store and stuff.
Yeah.
And he just told me he was thinking about going to school for some stuff. And I'm like, yo, bro, that's the way you play it. You know what I mean? That's how you play it until you figure out what you want to do. Because I tell my kids this all the time too. Like, look, I'm gonna mess with you regardless, bro. Like, we cool regardless. You don't gotta hoop to be cool with me.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you got my number, hit me. It's nothing. So you gotta be like that type of person with people, right? And it's about whether I'm in the hallways, whether I'm, like I said, wherever you catch me at, I'm the same way. If you need to holler at me, holler at me. If it's something I could do, I'll do it. If it's something I can't do, I'm gonna say I can't do it. Let me put you in contact with somebody I know that might be able to do it, And then it's like really that's the piece. And I'm not too cool for a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Let me not keep cursing on your stuff.
I feel what you mean.
Yeah, but I'm not cool. I'm not too cool, right? So if I don't know something, I'll ask. If I don't know something, you asking me for help. Hey, bro, I don't know how to do that. Let me figure it out. I never fixed on a car in my life. Let me call my boy and figure it out for both
Right,
of
we
us.
need to get you done.
Yeah, so because it's like you just gotta be. It's that honesty piece, transparent, and it's like that's what they respect. Because kids hit me after they graduate. Man, Fabe, you told me this, and I said, I already know, bro. It's cool though. What's up now? What can we do? Let's fix it now. Let's get on it now. We can't go backwards, so we moving forward. So, and I don't think it's enough people in that role or enough people with the right motives. I'm lucky enough to be getting paid to do what I enjoy doing because I used to do a bunch of jobs that I hated, and now I'm just worked myself into a position where it's like, okay, every day I can wake up, I can positive with my time. I don't hate going to work in the morning. I get off work, I go to another job. I love that. I spend my spare time doing something else that I love. So it's like it can make sense, but you just got to work it. And man, there's some stuff I've been at for a little minute too. So it's just really starting to make sense for me too. So who people that's doing it out there, you got to stick with it, and it'll come together for you.
For sure. So what's your
Mhm.
being the VP for the Illinois Fierce, right? Which is obviously taking up a lot of your time along with being the assistant coach. Do you have like an end game for what you want for like your coaching career, or does it kind of transcend just coaching?
Well,
Because a lot
Fierce
of people
isn't a
don't want to
coaching
just coach.
company.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So Fierce, the end game for Fierce, we want a facility.
nice.
We want a facility. We want to be able to host our own tournaments, our own football stuff. We want to be able to have some classrooms in there to do some after school programs. Like we want to, that's the long goal. That's the long game. This coaching thing in the meantime, I'm just trying to ride it as it going. It's like if you catch me in a year or two on somebody's D1 bench, then that's just where I'm at that time. And a couple of years from that, if I'm in the league, then that's just where I'm at. So
Right.
I'm not knocking nothing, you know what I
Right.
mean?
You gonna
I'm
take
not
it as it
knocking.
comes, right?
I'm taking it exactly how it comes, man. And honestly, man, things have been working out for me in this realm. So just get in here and work my mouthpiece and just try to keep climbing this ladder as high as it goes. So I'm not one to set limitations or box myself in with certain things of that nature.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we just riding this thing out right here. Get this national championship and see what happens.
That's gonna be beautiful, right?
Bruh.
You win a natty, man. Like
Bruh.
what does that do for the for not just does South Suburban have any natties?
No. Nope. So if we end this season, we'll be the first undefeated 10, first undefeated season. And then if we win nationals, it'll be the first national championship here.
Man, that's unbelievable. Man. I
Nah,
gotta
for
give it
sure.
up.
Man. Appreciate it.
Law Beat